questioning. I also want to thank the FCC for having the commissioners here together. Thank you for your help recently with Michigan, with our broadband maps. The agency's prompt response, and it was prompt, helped the state uncover and fix some discrepancies that could have lost us hundreds of millions of dollars for broadband deployment, so thank you. The maps still have a ways to go, as you've said, always improving, Madam Chair. But I'm confident that with improved coordination and planning, we can get rural Michigan and other places connected. Commissioner Carr, good to see you here. Hope you've just gotten down from a 2,000-foot tower or something that you're known to climb. Not certain why, but glad you take your job seriously. On the note of Michigan being connected and others rural connections, how would a national broadband strategy like the one created by My Plan for Broadband Act improve outcomes for rural deployment?
Yeah, I think your legislation is incredibly important. It's good to see you. I enjoyed the visit we did a year or so ago in your district. And I think what your legislation tackles is this current challenge of, for the first time, in a lot of ways, we have enough funding to end the digital divide. The question is, do we have the right policies and are we coordinated correctly to actually get it done? And with this GAO report that showed that we have, broadband spending over 130 different initiatives, 15 different agencies, we need a national coordinating strategy, and that's the exact piece that your bill would put in place. I think it's vital that we get that done.
Well, we'll work at it. From your lips to our chairman's ears. Commissioner Carr, this committee has been working diligently to address the pervasive threat of TikTok, especially after discovering that their CEO lied throughout his testimony here in March. I've heard some people make First Amendment arguments for why we shouldn't ban TikTok in the United States. Can you give us your perspective on the issue?
I've heard that argument as well, and I don't think that it's particularly strong. If you look at the Supreme Court precedent, they've drawn a very clear distinction between regulatory action based on the content of speech as opposed to the conduct of an actor. There's a famous Supreme Court case, Arcara Books, that had to do with a bookstore that was engaged in criminal conduct out of the bookstore. The government shut down the bookstore because of that. The proprietor said, you can't shut down my bookstore, that's First Amendment protected activity. And the court was clear that the action had nothing to do with speech or content, it was based on conduct. So too here with TikTok. The action would not be based on the content of TikTok's speech, or for that matter, anybody's speech. It would be based on the conduct that represents a clear national security threat. And for that reason, I think the First Amendment argument against taking action on TikTok is not particularly strong.
I appreciate the perspective. Madam Chair, turning to spectrum, the FCC recently sought comment on expanding the commercial use of the upper 12 gigahertz band. What steps is the FCC taking to coordinate with NTIA to ensure that any federal agencies that may have concerns register those concerns in a timely manner versus after any potential future auction takes place?
We are working very closely with NTIA on this issue right now. As you know, we have a spectrum coordination initiative with them, and it is designed to prevent there from being any late-breaking difficulties with existing federal incumbents. And as a result, I think we are in the clear for this, but I'm looking forward to the record that develops. We just started a rulemaking on this subject.
We look forward to it as well, in as timely a way as all of you are addressing our questions today. Thank you. Madam Chair and Commissioner Carr, how is the FCC approaching AI, and how can it be used in the telecommunications networks?
Thank you.
Simple subject.
Yeah, thank you for the question, and I will try to give you my 30-second response. If I can for a minute, I want to be an AI contrarian because I think it can do tremendous things for communications. That if we introduce machine learning and pattern recognition on our wired and wireless networks, we're going to be able to radically increase our efficiency. We'll take what feels scarce and make it abundant. And I just announced yesterday that we'll be working with the National Science Foundation to hold a forum to discuss just that. So I am not discussing AI writ large. I realize that's before a lot of other actors, but with respect to communications, I think it is full of potential, and I want to start to understand its use and start to incorporate it into our thinking about 5G and 6G networks and fiber facilities.
That is the creative tension, isn't it? Commissioner Carr.
I'd say if you look back at the last few decades, there's been really two technology developments that have stood out, the internet and mobile, and I think AI is poised to be the third. That's how significant it's going to be. We want to encourage it, promote it. We don't want to smother it in the cradle, but we need to make sure that going forward, it advances in a way that is consistent and promotes our values.
Thank you. My time has expired. I yield back.